Cinema. We watch cinema because it moves us. Not always, but often, at least sometimes. And when it moves us, does it move us by chance? No, no. It moves us by design. This video will change the way you watch movies. Every great film you've ever loved made you feel something before it made you think. You laughed, you cried, you leaned forward in your seat, and long after the credits were rolled, the story stayed with you. That emotional impact is not accidental, it is engineered in the script. Behind every unforgettable film lies a set of invisible principles so fundamental that when they work, you never notice them. And when they fail, the entire film collapses. Hello, and welcome to Writer for Writers. Whether you are here for the first time or you've been with us before, it is great to have you. Well, today we are not talking about formulas, movie trends, or box office tricks. We are uncovering the cardinal principles of script writing, the same principles that power films like Drishyam, Lagaan, Andhadhun, Pink, Kahani, and so on. You'll wonder which of these is important. All of them are. Therefore, I'm not saying number one, number two. I am randomly talking about. First, show, don't tell. Setup and payoffs are sacred. Everything must connect with everything else. Endings must feel inevitable yet surprising. What drives the plot? Events? No. Character desires drive the plot. About characters? Flaws make characters compelling. Coming to climax, it resolves the central moral question of the film. Stakes throughout must be clear and raging, and conflict must escalate. And finally, the themes must be lived, not preached. We'll take them in a random order again. If you are a writer, filmmaker, or simply someone who loves cinema and wants to understand why some stories stay with us forever, this video should change the way you watch movies. Let us start with setups and payoffs are sacred. That's like a full circle from setup to climax and what gets paid off. Well, if script introduces something, it must matter later. And if something matters later, it must be set up earlier. Andhadhun, for example, introduces blindness, introduces a piano, a rabbit, even background sounds casually. But everything comes back with devastating significance. The dialogue that we all remember. कुछ चीजें अधूरी होने की वजह से ही तो पूरी होती हैं. This is not a coincidence. This is discipline. Setup and payoff reward attention. They make the audience feel intelligent and respected. Let's move on to the next cardinal principle. Everything must connect to everything else. In impactful screenwriting, nothing exists randomly. Every object, every line of dialogue, every character decision must connect to something that comes later. This creates the feeling that everything is leading to somewhere meaningful. Take Drishyam, popular by the representative dialogue. दो अक्टूबर याद है ना? Early on, Vijay Salgaonkar's obsession with films and cinema tickets feels like harmless character details, often laughable. But later, those very tickets become the backbone of a meticulously constructed alibi. A casual police visit, Vijay's habit of storytelling, everything matters. Nothing is wasted. That's the difference between scenes placed next to each other and a story woven together. Moving on, next principle, cardinal. Endings must feel inevitable yet surprising. The best endings short and then make perfect sense also. Again, taking the example of Drishyam, it does exactly that. When the ending arrives, it arrives not with a loud revelation, but with a quiet yet profound unspoken acceptance. There is no dramatic confession, no exposure of the truth. Instead, the film shows Vijay returning the remains of the boy to Meera Deshmukh. chilling, something the audience never explicitly expects, yet completely resonates and understands the moment, particularly in the social milieu, culture, tradition that we live in. That's where the surprise lies. Not in what is told, but in what is implied. So, when the ending unfolds, that balance of withholding the truth while making you feel it completely is what makes the ending both surprising and real. That is what makes it unforgettable. Well, move on. What should drive the plot? Characters' desire drives the plot. Stories don't move forward because events happen. Events happen because characters want something badly enough to act. Let's take Lagan. The British don't randomly challenge villagers to a cricket match. The story moves because Bhuvan desperately wants freedom from oppressive taxes. ये एक लड़ाई जो हमका जितनी है लगान से मुक्ति गांव की खुशहाली ट्रेनिंग द विलेजर्स forming the team facing impossible odds every major movement exists because of that single desire the want remove the want and the story collapses desire is the engine events are only the road let's move further flaws make characters compelling. Perfect characters are boring. Gone are the days of perfect characters. Flaws create tension, contradiction, and growth. In Devdi, Dev's self-destruction isn't just a trait. His impulsiveness leads to heartbreak, addiction, and isolation. The script never excuses him. It lets the consequences speak. The famous dialogue, दिल्ली में बिल्ली मार लो, पालो मत. बहुत महंगा पड़ता है. We may not admire Dev, but we cannot look away either because flaws make characters human and humanity, even in the films, holds attention. Moving on, the climax must resolve the central moral question of the film. And by the way, films which do not have a central moral question hardly have any chance to become popular. A climax isn't just action. It answers the story's moral dilemma. In Munna Bhai MBBS, the question is simple. Does compassion belong in a rigid, authority-driven system? The movie that we remember because of Munna Bhai and Circuit's friendship with dialogue that exposes the central moral question. वो बाहर कैजुअलिटी में कोई मरने की हालत में रहा तो उसको फॉर्म भरना जरूरी है क्या? Towards the end, when police are called to take away the rusticated Munna out of the college, the entire college, the staff, students, nurses, sweepers, teachers, everyone blocks his exit, demonstrating the power of compassion over rigidity. Next cardinal principle. The stakes must be clear and rising. The audience must always know what will be lost if protagonist fails. That is the stake. In Pink, the stakes begin at social judgment, rise into legal consequences, and finally become a question of freedom, dignity, and identity. The explanation of the resolution. ना सिर्फ एक शब्द नहीं, अपने आप में एक पूरा वाक्य है. इसे किसी तर्क, स्पष्टीकरण, एक्सप्लेनेशन या व्याख्या की जरूरत नहीं होती. ना का मतलब ना ही होता है. Every courtroom scene rages what is at risk, not just for the women, but for society. Clear stakes turn dialogue into tension. Rising stakes turn tension into drama. Relating this with the next cardinal principle is the conflict must not just stay, it must escalate. Good conflict doesn't repeat, it intensifies. In Gangs of Wasseypur, the conflict begins as personal rivalry but doesn't stay there. Throughout the movie, known with this representative dialogue, बाप का, दादा का, भाई का, सबका बदला लेगा रे तेरा फैजल. It grows into generational bloodshed, political warfare, and continuous moral decay. Each act raises the cost. Each decision deepens the damage. Conflict must tighten the noose. not circle the same ground. Moving on, the next cardinal principle: theme must be lived, not preached. A script's theme should emerge through choices and consequences, not from speeches. Tare Zameen Par never lectures us about the education system. It lets us feel Ishan's suffering, isolation, and healing. It tells us about the talents. दुनिया में ऐसे ऐसे हीरे पैदा हुए हैं जिन्होंने सारी दुनिया का नक्शा ही बदला, क्योंकि ये दुनिया को अपनी अलग नजर से देख पाए. The theme that every child is different is proven emotionally when scripts trust the audience to feel themes endure. And to close today's discussion, the most important cardinal principle of cinema: show. Show, don't tell. Cinema is a visual medium. When scripts explain emotions instead of showing them, they weaken their impact. So ja, varna hasta rah jayega. Yes, I'm talking about the Bard. The film never explains greed. It shows it through decay, darkness, repetition, and environment. Even silence speaks louder than words. Audiences don't need explanations. They need experiences. Every great movie script follows an invisible rhythm: setup, struggle, and resolution. Structure isn't a formula, it's the skeleton that lets emotions stand. Characters aren't just personalities, they are vehicles for change. Dialogue isn't decoration, it has a purpose, often hiding meaning rather than stating it. And some stories stay with us longer because the damage is personal, such as Diva, Bahubali, Sholay. Before any script becomes a film, it must survive one sentence in the logline. If the idea doesn't ignite emotion in that moment of logline, the movie won't. Be sure about that. The truth is, great films are not made by luck, and they are not saved in the edit. Their scripts are built layer by layer on strong foundations. When everything connects, when desire drives the plot, when conflict escalates and stakes rise, when themes are lived instead of preached, that's when cinema stops being entertainment and becomes an experience to remember, recall, live again and again. And now, you know the truth. Cinema doesn't move us by chance, it moves us by design. Well, if you haven't watched the movies I've cited, do watch them. They surely won't disappoint you. And if you have already watched them before, watch them again, keeping in mind what you have heard just in this video. Don't just ask yourself whether you liked it. Ask why it worked or why it didn't. Because once you see a film from these principles, you can never unsee them. Well, if this video helped you see cinema more clearly, like, share, subscribe, and in the comment section, let me know a movie in which you have noticed these principles working. Because stories don't become timeless by accident, they become timeless by craft. Well, wait for the next release. I won't make you wait for long. Good day. Bye bye.